Hey guys, now I'm going to talk about PRC roles and different responsibilities that each of you will be given. Honestly, this is my favorite part because it's really fun. Um, as you probably know, there's a lot of bits and pieces that have to come together for us to have a good recruitment, and we want it to go very smoothly. And that's basically why we have different responsibilities for each of you during recruitment. This includes like the time where you take PNMs to different parties and wait for them outside the recruitment rooms. This doesn't really involve your time with your like PNM group, like discussing things um, at the beginning of every day or at the end of the day when they have to make their choices. Since we have 6 PRC groups and 6 PRCs in each group, I came up with 6 different roles, and each of you is going to have one of these roles. They are timer and walkie-talkie, list, line, hygiene, pump up, and snack PRCs. I'll go through each of them and explain what each role consists of, and then in the end, I'll give you a list of who is doing what. Timer PRC. This person is the person who will officially watch Panhel's time for us. You basically have to make sure that we start parties on time and also end them on time. Each day of recruitment is pretty long, so we would rather not have everything go over time. So first of all, PNMs are going to be lined up outside each recruitment room at 10 minutes before each party starts, I believe. Then at 5 minutes before a party starts, the timer PRC is going to knock on the door of the recruitment room and basically sing her watch with the person who was watching the time inside. This could be their recruitment chair or her assistant or someone else. And that's the 5-minute warning. And then at 2 minutes before the party starts, the timer PRC is going to knock again, open the door, and then give the 2-minute warning. And then when the party starts, she opens the door, and when the first PNM goes inside the recruitment room, she will start the clock to watch the time for that party. Door closes, PRCs wait outside each recruitment room for the party to end, and then at 5 minutes before the end of a party, the timer PRC is going to knock to give a 5-minute warning. Then she'll do it again at 2 minutes before the end of a party, and then when the party is ending, she'll open the door. The PNMs will come out, and she will stop the watch when the last PNM leaves the room. As you remember, I explained that there's going to be a 1-minute grace period for every single chapter. So if a party runs over time by a minute, that's fine, just give them a warning. But if their party runs over time by more than a minute, you have to report it to us because that's definitely a violation. Another thing that timer PRCs have to do is making sure PNMs don't take anything inside or outside the recruitment rooms. We're going to give them snacks while they're waiting for parties to start, but you just have to make sure that they don't take any, trash or even their phones into the rooms, and then they can't take any gifts, which is, it can be like food, plastic cups, plates, etc., outside the recruitment room. In addition to that, these PRCs will have a walkie-talkie, and they're going to be in touch with I guess all the other walkie-talkie PRCs and recruitment exec. We're trying not to use our phones in front of PNMs. So after a party starts, you will let us, recruitment exec, know that the party has started. We're all going to be on the same channel. So all the other PRC groups will also hear what's happening. After a party has started and after the door is closed, the last PNM is inside, everything is done, you will report to us, for example, purple team party started. You will also let us know if a party started late or if it runs over time. For example, purple team party started 1 minute over time, or purple team party ended 5 minutes over time. You will also use your walkie-talkie to let us know if there are any PNMs who just like suddenly dropped out of recruitment or didn't show up. Just make sure not to use your walkie-talkies in front of your PNMs. Use them when the parties have started and they're inside the recruitment rooms. Next is list PRC. This is the PRC who will have the list of PNMs going into a specific party. So what happens is that you will have 3 copies of the list. At 10 minutes before a party starts, the line PRC is going to line up PNMs outside the room. This is based on this list. That's in alphabetical order. It's the Greek alphabet, if you can see, alpha, beta, gamma. And so she lines them up. What happens is that you have to go up and down the list and make sure everyone is in the correct order. And if anyone leaves and comes back, you have to kind of make a record on your list. So let's say one of your PNMs, she just left the line to go to the bathroom, or she got a phone call, or an emergency came up. Let's say this PNM was Libby Lambda. What you have to do is to cross out her name with a single line, and then just check if everyone else is in their places. If Libby comes back to the line, you will put her name at the end of the list. And then she has to stand at the end of the line. Also, you have to make this chain and adding her to the end to all 3 copies of the list you're given. So I'm going to do that right now. Libby gone, Libby, and gone. So all of my lists, the first copy, the second copy, and the third copy, have her name at the end. If you remember, at 5 minutes before a party starts, the timer PRC is going to knock on the door and give a warning, and then sync her time with the person inside. What you're going to do is give your first copy of the list with any changes that you made to the person inside. Ideally, that person is the recruitment chair. Then you're going to keep going up and down the line, making sure everyone's in the right order. And then, again, if any changes come up, you have to make a record of that on your list. So let's say now it's 3 minutes before a party starts, and Betty Beta is gone. So you cross out her name to both copies, and then she comes back, so you put her name down at the end of the list after Libby's name. And then, as you remember, at 2 minutes before a party starts, the timer PRC is going to knock on the door again to give a warning, and what you do is give your second copy of the list to the person inside so they'll know what changes happened to the list. Hopefully no changes will happen between the time you give your last copy to the person inside. So this second copy of the list is the last copy that you give to the person inside. So this is their final PNM list. You are going to keep this list for yourself. Also make sure as the PNMs are going inside, again, check to see if they're in the right order and count them. And also count them when they come outside the recruitment room. So next is line PRC. This person also has a copy of the list, but one single copy that she's going to keep and not give anyone. What happens is that at 10 minutes before a party starts, line PRC is going to put the PNMs in a line outside the recruitment room. This is based on alphabetical order. We do that. Don't worry about it. We're just going to give you the list. You line them up. And then kind of start quieting down the PNMs and make sure that they're not talking about sororities or their like preferences and anything. And then make sure they're in line in the right place. If any changes happen, you have to make a record of that on your list as well. So in our example, first Libby Lambda, and then Betty Beta left and then came back. So you put down Libby's name first, and then cross out Betty's name, and then put her at the end of the line. So yes, if any PNM leaves and comes back, you have to put them at the end of the line. Make sure that they're in the correct order. Also count them as they're going in the recruitment room and as they're coming outside. Cool. at the beginning of every day, these PRCs are going to come and see me. I will give them a bag of mints, cough drops, tampons, hand sanitizer, and like other things, and an information sheet for that day, just like a summary of everything we've talked about, just like a couple of reminders we have for that specific day. And they're going to go back to their color groups and give what they have and distribute them to other PRCs in their group. During the breaks we have between parties, these PRCs are the ones who will give mints, cough drops, etc. to PNMs. Everyone else will have those in their fanny packs, maybe, that's an idea. But these PRCs will be the main people for hygiene. Now, pump up PRCs. These PRCs are basically the people who will pump up their PNMs and keep them hyped for recruitment and excited. As we all know, recruitment can be very long and tiring for PNMs, so your job is to just keep them excited. There's different ways to keep them pumped up. You can have your own chants, you can have songs, you can bring a speaker with you and play music. What we're trying to do and thinking of doing this year is to have some kind of game outside each recruitment room. Cornhole is a good example to kind of, entertain the PNMs. But that's up to our pump up PRCs. Whatever you want to do to get your PNMs excited about recruitment, go for it. Pump up PRCs are also in charge of collecting phones before a party starts. Snack PRC. As the name suggests, this PRC will be the person to have a bag of snacks for PNMs while they're waiting outside the recruitment rooms between parties. They will also have to make sure that PNMs don't take any trash inside the recruitment rooms.